A very good Monday evening to you and welcome to Y254 News Highlights. My name is DebriefY254. Welcome to the broadcast. We begin with the latest where President Uhuru Kenyatta promised that the government will take the severest action against any individual who breaches guidelines given by the Ministry of Health with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic and endanger other Kenyans. The president warning came as police broke up gatherings and ordered all people found idling in Eldoret town on Monday to disperse. Speaking from State House in Nairobi, Monday, President Kenyatta also announced that the government is also working with Google Loan to help Kenyans in remote areas access internet services in the wake of coronavirus pandemic. The president said the Google Loan, in partnership with Telecom Kenya, will help Kenyans access speed 4G internet services. The president also said that this will keep Kenyans connected to emergency services wherever they are.
But continue to emphasize the need for each and every one of us to follow the protocols that have been laid out by the Ministry of Health. Most importantly, with regard to the danger posed to our population by people who flagrantly refuse to adhere to the laid down protocols. I want to once again and categorically reaffirm that the government will take the severest action against any individual who knowingly breach these laid down conventions and procedures and in turn put the rest of the population at risk. So I encourage you, each and every one of you, let us follow the guidelines as has been given by the Ministry of Health. Let us be our brother's keeper, let us be our sister's keeper, and I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic. As I said, in a few days' time, we shall also be having a further session with private sector where we shall be announcing a raft of measures that the government will take to support our businesses and to support our people during this particularly.
In matters COVID-19, another case has been reported, totaling to 16 now, and Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, when releasing the statement to the nation, he said 646 people have been traced, with 96 being released where after being followed for 14 days, which is the follow-up period, and 550 persons are still being followed. 11 are admitted awaiting test result. Here is the statement.
We have called you again this afternoon to appraise you on what has transpired in the last 24 hours. Today, we have received confirmation of one more case of a patient who has tested positive for coronavirus. This brings the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Kenya to 16. The latest is a close contact of one of the 8 cases we reported yesterday. The ministry, working with the county governments, has traced 646 persons who had come into close contact with the confirmed cases. 96 of these contacts have already been released from our follow-up program after completing the 14-day follow-up period. Those remaining in our follow-up list are 550 persons. All the patients, except one, who is at the coast, are still in stable condition and improving. 11 individuals are currently admitted at Bagathi Hospital awaiting test results. Yesterday, if you recall, We also addressed the issue pertaining to the public transport sector. We reminded those operating in this sector to adhere to the directive we gave on March 20th, 2020. It has come to our attention that several public sector transport operators have now resorted to increased fares as a result of this directive. I want to make an appeal to those in the matatu industry and others in the transport sector not to increase fares for our commuters. By so doing, it will be counterproductive as we continue to fight this virus in our country. You will remember that I had said from the beginning that every sector is going to take a financial hit in this crisis, and to expect that one sector is going to punish everybody else for them to maintain a scenario where they are earning as much as they could is immoral and unfair. And then therefore we are appealing to the matatu sector to kindly look at the situation, understand it, understand that the commuters they are carrying are not in the same position they were in prior to this. Some of them are not earning any money at the moment, and to appeal for their reasoning. As we indicated yesterday, we have suspended all flights effective midnight 25th March 2020, international flights, as one of the key measures to prevent importation of additional cases in the country. Let me reiterate that all passengers coming into the country between now and that day, Wednesday, midnight, must undergo mandatory quarantine, either A, at their own expense in hotels, in government-approved hotels, or in designated government facilities. I want at this point to issue an apology from the Ministry of Health and other government agencies that are involved in this exercise to the parents and the individuals who have been so inconvenienced since last night. We are aware that we had logistical challenges that we encountered as a result of the speed at which we wanted to move into quarantining individuals. And therefore we know that we inconvenienced people substantially, and for this we can only apologize and mitigate by saying it was absolutely necessary that we do so. I also want to thank those hotels that have already admitted the quarantined people, but to make also a passionate appeal. In a manner of speaking, business has been brought to you by steroids. We are appealing to you. These are people who came into the country without a plan to spend money in a hotel. If your normal charges in a hotel room are 12,000 shillings, you should be charging no more than 50% of that, or even 25% of that. This is business you didn't expect, and you are not going to get it. So to expect a person who had no plans of spending time in a hotel to spend or to pay the rates that you normally charge anybody else is again immoral and inconsiderate. So we are asking you, the hotels that have offered themselves for this purpose, to also charge reasonably, reduce the rate as part of your corporate social responsibility. It would help Kenyans. We are encouraged to note that majority of the people have complied with the measures we have so far announced. We continue to appeal to Kenyans to take the matter seriously and strictly observe the advisories issued, which are all aimed at containing the spread of the disease in our country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Questions? Yes.
The issue of mandatory quarantine appears to be becoming increasingly a challenge. We have received reports of stranded visitors at the Kenya School of Government at the same time at the Utalii College. How is the government moving in to resolve the same? And number two is about
A pastor has been put under mandatory quarantine at Narok Hospital by the county emergency response team after arriving from a trip in Sweden and failing to self-quarantine as stipulated by the government. Addressing journalists on Monday, Commissioner Samuel Kimiti said that the female pastor arrived in the country last Wednesday and hosted several gatherings before the elapse of the 14-day quarantine. The county commissioner, who was accompanied by Narok Health CC Morgan Siloma, said the woman was arrested from her home at Lenana Estate, the outskirts of Narok town. Kimiti also revealed that their team has already launched an operation to trace the persons that she might have come in contact with. The woman is yet to be tested positive. In other news, national carrier Kenya Airways has announced temporarily suspension of all international flights effective Wednesday midnight until further notice. Chief Executive Officer Alan Kivaluka says this is in line with the government's directive stopping all outbound and inbound flights. The CEO said that, as mentioned in the previous communication, they have been forced to reduce their network by over 70%, and it had become increasingly difficult to continue offering international passenger service. Following government's directive, incoming and outgoing international passenger traffic to and from Kenya will cease from midnight on 25th March 2020. Popular blogger Robert Alai has been arrested on 50,000 cash bail. Alai was arrested and detained by publishing false information about coronavirus contrary to Section 23 of the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act of 2018. In his post, Alai had claimed that the government was concealing crucial information in relation to the spread of COVID-19 and that the impact of the disease was much more pronounced than the government was portraying it. He was arrested on Friday and taken to Muthaiga police station, where he was locked up over the weekend. Alai was charged at a Nairobi court before senior resident magistrate M. Ndungi. The court ordered him not to publish any information on COVID-19. We will be taking a very short break. When we come back, we continue with more that we have for you. Keep it Y254.
Y254. Imagine. Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
Mr. Good Vibe.
OG, hey, say let me alone. Kahuna bongo mama, say let me alone. Kahuna bongo mama, say let me alone. Say let me alone. Kahuna bongo mama phone. Say ni biggie and she don't be calling no more. Say let me alone, alone. Say let me alone. Kahuna bongo mama phone. Say ni biggie and she don't be calling no more phone. Let me alone. If you can keep up with the Jones, I'd rather die body don't be coming to my show. Let me alone, alone. Pretend I mean alone. Let me alone, alone. Let me alone, I'm telling I mean, leave me alone, I'm telling I mean, leave me alone. Say let me alone, kahuna bongo on my phone, say ni biggie.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., the Buzz Y254 gives you a 360 view of what's happening in the entertainment scene.
Rimo is a Kenyan actress and model cum presenter.
Local and international artists, we see you and we've got you covered.
I had not even planned to do videos.
So we were like, you are talented, I'm talented, let's jump into this.
Nilikuwa nanua maskat nauzia, naenda kwa university kuuzia madem.
The fight against corruption is not limited to a particular space.
Cheetah's Prayer is a song now I just wrote of outer body experience.
As I say, you can't put me in a box. I'm just a Jamaican artist. I'm not an R&B, I'm not a reggae, I'm not a, because I will sing any little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Gengetan.
Juicy and hard to ignore gossip.
You know it's serious when you meet the parents of the girl, and it's clear that Tanzanian songbird Vanessa Mdee and Rotimi are pretty serious.
And of course, we give you a full package roundup of all the 254 entertainment events. So, if you're a party animal or just an entertainment fan, the Buzz Y254 is your program.
Y254. Imagine.
Kiambu County government is on the receiving end for not implementing the orders issued by the National Land Commission concerning a public land occupied by a food processing company. The NLC given orders with the aim of determining the unused land by the company. The orders required that the surplus land be shared by the county government and Kandara Resident Association. Elsewhere, FIFA has granted a Football Kenya Federation FKF a 30-day extension to pay former Harambee Stars coach Adel Lamrouche. This is according to a letter dated March 23rd, 2020 and signed off by head of the FIFA disciplinary department, Carlos Salvador. The disciplinary committee sat on Monday to evaluate the case in which Lamrouche won a case of unlawful dismissal against FKF, but the federation has since appeared unwilling or unable unable to make the 109 million payment. At the same time, World Athletic Chief Sebastian Coe has called for the Tokyo Olympics to be postponed, citing coronavirus pandemic. In a letter to the International Olympic Committee, President Thomas Bach, written before Sunday's IOC meeting, Coe said holding the games in July 2020 was neither feasible nor desirable because of the global effect. The Njomolo and Y254 footbridges have been opened 3 years after they were commissioned. The Kenya opened the footbridge and are expected to reduce pedestrians' deaths as well as facilitate easy movement of traffic along the superhighway. The superhighway accommodates about 70,000 vehicles daily. And lastly, at least 10 people were killed on Sunday in clashes between police and protesters as Guinea held a bitterly disputed referendum. Security forces carried out massive arrests, fired blindly, cruel, molested and killed at least 10 people, the FNDC, an umbrella opposition group, said in a statement. The opposition parties and civil society organizations called for fresh protest Monday on Tuesday. Alpha Conde, Guinea's first democratically elected president in 2010, is proposing a change to the constitution to codify gender equality and introduce other social reforms. You are now up to date. Coming up next is OI Mashariki. DJ Teska and Ken Relbis will be here for you. I have been yours, DebriefY254, and this is the debrief.